it starts with a decision. Everything where you want to go starts with the energy of decision. And I would guess, if I was working individually with all of you, that the thing that you're not getting to, you have actually not energetically decided you are all in. You are hedging your bets. I was continuously hedging my bets with the universe. Well, I'll do this and we'll see what happens. I'll do this, and if enough people say yes, that will be my sign. And the sign doesn't come in when you're not all in.
We're going to bring up our first guest to the stage. Let me just change out here so we can say some yummy things about this amazing, magnificent person. Rachael Jayne Gruber is the founder of the Awakened School. Not only is she a best-selling author of 3 transformational books, she does have a booth out here. She is a TED Talk speaker and a Inc. 5000 CEO. But she's also the creator of the Art of Feminine Presence training, a revolutionary program that has been taught worldwide with over 13,000 women in the past 13 years. All of her work is for looking for those that are having an elevated conversation on spiritual awakening and human potential. And she's also our platinum sponsor. So let's put a warm welcome, get on your feet, for Rachael Jayne Gruber. She's sharing some yummies with you.
Good morning.
All right. Okay. Well, we have Rachael Jayne in the house with us. Okay. I'm ready to start this. Are you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it was a great start because everything that I do really at the foundational level is about presence and getting into that good space.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to do when you've got to be on stage. You know, it's easy to do when you're in the audience, and maybe a little more difficult when the lights are shining on you and everything, and how to hold that when there's stress going on.
Yes. There's no stress on here, baby. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
And there's no stress building a business.
No, right? Now, you've been very successful in creating a multiple seven-figure business. That was not always the case for you. What led you onto this journey?
Well, I've always been fascinated with why people have a lot of presence. And I was a singer-songwriter before this lifetime of speaking. And I just always have been really fascinated with why a certain person could walk on stage or speak or be on a camera and just have this kind of magnetism about them, where so many women, who I've mostly been working with, seem invisible, right? They just don't seem like people remember them, and they see them and they respond to them. And when I was making the move, I realized I'm up against a big trauma of my own. So you were sharing yours.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Mine was growing up in Australia, which has the tall poppy syndrome, which means if you grow a little too tall for everyone else, let's just cut the head off and make sure they don't think they got a big head, about that. And so I excelled at a lot of things early on, but I don't know how many times I've heard, who do you think you are? Or why are you so arrogant? And I'm like, I'm actually quite nice. Like, I don't feel like that.
Yes.
But it was because kind of doing their job to keep her in her place. So when I moved to America, it was, and started the business, I'm up against, oh my God, I've got to get your attention. I've actually got to be shining and I've got to be big. But internally, it's like, you cannot do that. That is like death.
And I think would everyone agree with that? That's a big one. Yes. Because then if you are being seen, then it's like, oh, who is she? What does she think she's doing?
Huge fear of judgment of others, huge fear. And so how I got into it was like, okay, what is that thing that makes a woman have such magnetism and really comfortable in her own skin? And then I was like, okay, well, now I can use these practices that I'm learning, I'm teaching, to be a good speaker, to be great on camera, to be good in a sales conversation, all the things that we need to do in order to get people's attention and hold people's attention. And in success in business, you probably heard it, attention is the most valuable currency in business. If you don't have their attention, and you don't have it so they're leaning in, not just like, oh, I know that person and I've seen them on video before or whatever. They're actually leaning in. Your bank account's going to show that, right? It's just people are going. So I trained in these presence practices like a good athlete would.
Yeah.
And it was like getting through that trauma, getting through that, and then being able to do certain things energetically and physically that allow me to be seen and not just kind of glossed over, which is what was happening.
I love it. So at what point did you, was there ever a point that you wanted to quit? And what was the catalyst for keeping moving forward? I mean, seriously.
I was going to say yesterday. No. Absolutely.
But that's a fair. I mean, we're laughing at it, but it's a real thing. And how do you continue pushing through and moving through it?
So yes, my husband is my best friend and business partner. He doesn't work in the operations of the business anymore, but it would be like a once a year thing. Is this our once a year where we want to blow this up? And that stopped a few years ago for different reasons, as far as like not wanting to blow it up. But yes, I do want to do that. And what kept going? Well, really what kept going is like I'm completely unemployable. Like who is going to... You know, Karen Ruth's talking about unionizing the workers. Like I'm supposed to be on stage in some way. And that may be for some of you. You're supposed to be, whether you've had that experience or you know it's coming for you. And I know I'm supposed to write. So like, am I really going to take my divine calling and go, well, sorry, it's too hard? And I just really came up against that. Like, I'm not willing to not do what my divine calling is. Because I know it's going to be bad news if I don't do it. Well, it's probably going to be worse if I do it.
And I think when you try to shut it off, because I tried to shut it off mine I dug my heels in long and hard to be like, you know what? Nope, this is not happening. And then it just kept percolating up. And I'm like, dang it. Why? I'm not, and then you can't shut it off.
Exactly. Yeah. I could not shut it off.
Yeah.
You just got to get better. Like business, one of my business coaches said this once, like business does not get easier. And I can tell you that right now, it does not get easier. And we're trying to make a huge ascent to 8 figures right now, and it's not easier, but you get better. You get better at everything, and so it feels a lot easier. And that's when the giving up stopped. Is like I'm going to be way better, and I'm not going to half-ass this stuff anymore, right? Because at every level of the business, if you find that plateau, at some level, if you're on a plateau, you're half-assing this. And I had to really look at myself with like, how am I doing that? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Even though people who know me wouldn't be like, you're not playing mediocre. I'm like, I am.
To your standards, yeah.
To the standards of where I am trying to go. And I know everyone in this room, you're not trying to just go to, I'd like to make $45,000 a year. Right? I'm presuming you're not, right? So this is big stuff. And I think that would be a real important key is today look at where you are playing mediocre, even if other people wouldn't say you are. And so that's kept me on this trajectory of getting better and better at things that matter, because you can't be good at everything.
Yes. I
wish, but you can't. So the things that I know are my natural talent, which is where your strategy comes in. I'm like, I am going to be exceptional, and I am not exceptional yet, and just staying on that.
Okay. So speaking of that, like, what are some of the things that you've done in your business to really move the needle forward? Like, what were some of those key elements that really helped?
So I think to hit 6 or 7 figures, or wherever you are, there's 4 categories that you need to 10x from where you are. One is presence, because your presence precedes all the strategies you do. Is everyone getting that in your work? Anyone can shoot a video and post it, but is anyone going to want to watch it? Not necessarily. The presence is the energy. So I trained that. The second is your message. And I see a lot of people who've done a lot of marketing trainings, a lot of messaging trainings, and they're kind of in the ballpark, right? They're not like talking about things that get people to go, what are you doing, right? But what happens is they're now clear and they're speaking, but they get a pat on the head like, oh, good on you for helping the world. People need that. Does anyone get those pats on the head when you say what you do? Like, oh, and you're like, but well, where's the money? I'd prefer the money versus the pat on the head. And what happens is they don't create their message to be urgent enough. So if you can get your message dialed in to be more urgent, meaning they need it today, not in 6 months' time, you will start seeing that shift. And for me, that was hard because I'm teaching presence and energy and womb space. Built like $1 million area of our business, teaching women to be in their womb space. So if I can do it and make that urgent, you can do it. But that was the second. The third is the strategy piece. And I would say the number one tip that really helped us is to don't choose too many strategies. Don't throw the spaghetti at the wall. So I choose speaking and videos and pretty much nothing else. My social media sucks. I'm not on social media much. Anyone hate social media or feel like, I don't want to build because I got to be on social media? Well, my social media sucks and we hit multi-7 figures. So good news for you, truly. But I chose the speaking and I chose the video realm, mostly on YouTube, for that to get really, really good. So niche into strategy. And the last thing that's really important is the answer to this question. What is the number one thing you think that you need to 10x if you're going to 10x your business? Just yell it out.
Yeah, let's yell it.
What's the number one thing you need to 10x in yourself if you were going to 10x your business? Confidence.
Follow through and nurturing.
Follow through and nurturing. Thank you. Anyone else?
Knowledge.
Commitment. What was that one? Knowledge. Yes, all of these are great. And I think looking at the overall picture, it's courage to me, because if you are going to be more exceptional on stage, you're going to have to get way more courageous than like, oh, here's my lovely outline and everyone's going to love it. You're going to have to wake people up. You're going to have to get a little edgy, be funny, do what your brand is, as Teri does so well, and it takes courage. And selling at a higher ticket takes courage. Like following up,
Takes courage.
it takes courage. So those 3 things: presence, message, urgent, strategy, keep it in your lane, and continuously working on the courage, because the fear doesn't really go away if you are going for it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You can. When we talk about fear, whenever I take a stage, and you'll hear a little bit more about my story later, but I just get this wave of energy, right? It's like this anxiety. So I called her Revy. And
Call her what?
Revy.
Revy.
Because she revs me up. And so Revy and I have a really great relationship now. In the beginning, she was a loose cannon. She was just out of control. She was like a teenager. You try to tell her to do it, and no. But whatever that is, I give it a name and acknowledge that she's showing up. And she's here to help me. You know, emotions are on a scale, right? Down here, you know, it's an activator. Up here, it's, you know, destroyer, right? Of courage. And so just giving her some time and space, I acknowledge her and I thank her for showing up because she's trying to keep me safe. And just by doing that, it eliminates her. And now she gets 2 minutes of any time I step on the stage. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, whatever it is. But my little strategy to do that is, if you saw my intro, I led with what?
Dance.
Humor. The thing was humor, and then I did dance, right? But humor helps for Revy. She's like, okay, you're safe. You're good. There, you got your first laugh without even having to do anything. But it's just going back to that piece of that. So, but going into the fear, yes, you don't ever get rid of fear.
Actually, once you do. I'll be honest. Like, I don't feel fear really anymore, but it's because of not the business work that I do. It's the energetic work that I do. And it's the nervous system work that I do. And it's the spiritual awakening work that I do. And so I did feel fear a lot until 2018. And something happened in 2018 that made my mind go quiet forever. And I've been on a spiritual path. I've been 20 years meditating. It was my first rodeo, and I had a very significant spiritual experience, and I realized that with the body piece, because still is the nervous system, if you take the body piece and the spiritual awakening piece, whatever your understanding is of God, of source, of infinite, it is not your ego, it's allowing that to really stream through your body, so you see with those eyes and you speak with that voice. And now you know it really is just one in the room. Then there can't be, it can't hold, fear can't hold. So
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like on the path, fear, and then it can really, really dissolve.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people I know in this audience right now on a spiritual path and is opening up more so than ever before, which is really juicy.
Yeah.
It's really juicy.
Want more support in creating your success story? My products can help. Check them out. First, I have my book, Be the Magic of You, Tools to Transform Your Life. And in it, I have over 70 different tools to help reprogram your brain. Next, I have my daily intentions planners. They help you create without forcing it. They combine brain science and universal laws. In addition to my book and planners, I also have 2 card decks you're sure to love, designed to support you to reconnect with your purpose, power, and potency. I also offer 2 special packages. The first is the Success Package. In it, you'll have my book and a year's supply of planners to help you bundle and save. Next is my favorite, the Empowerment Package. You can supercharge your life and business by getting all the products at one low price. But wait, there's more. I also offer a yearly subscription called the 7-Figure Business Box. Each quarter, you'll receive a physical box mailed to your home, a live 2-hour intensive training, an hour-long fireside chat with an expert in the industry, a guidebook packed with even more resources. To order anything you see here, just go to my website, talkingwithteri.com.
Well, I would love to dive into, and you said that it was okay to do this, so I'm going to take you up on it.
I'll go anywhere, baby.
So I love listening, and whenever I'm sitting down with someone of like, you know, how do their brain work? And I love to be able to put myself in that experience to be like, how does their brain work? So I would love to put you on the spot. What's a business, and she shared what she does, right? I mean, maybe it's around the booking, the speaking, or the books, speaking. Is there anyone who wants to share a challenge that's going on in their business, so that we can give you can give a solution from the way you think and process it, right? Anyone want to share?
Free coaching.
Yeah.
Yes, in the front. What's your name? Hope. Beautiful name. There is hope for your business. Yes. What is your business?
I'm a realtor.
Realtor. Great.
So, how do you get your first speaking engagements to be able to go to either a business or develop one on your own?
Great. So, do you have a speech yet planned? Like a title? Do you know what your title is and your bullet points of your talk?
Yes.
And what's your title?
My title is Wealth Through Real
Wealth Through Real Estate. And so that's not a bad title because we kind of want that. So it's got to be that and urgent. So maybe we could do a subtitle that's got a little more urgency under that. So you've got the talk. There's three things. It's research, it's the reach out, and then it's the follow up. So the research is where are all of the potential speaking gigs that you could go in the industry or, well, anywhere. Because are you teaching people who are not realtors? Yeah, so you could go many, many places. So you're going to start going down rabbit holes on Google, on meetup.com, on other things, and you're going to start spending a few hours a week going, okay, I'm going to write them in a spreadsheet. Then reach out is number 2, and that has got to be short and punchy, where it basically says, hey, Teri, for your next event, do you open up to outside speakers or do you not? That's an easy answer for her to send back to me. Versus, hey, Teri, I'm the most awesome thing ever, and here is 3 attachments that you have to now open in order to see my talk title and my bio and all that. Get it, what I call a ping pong match going on early, and then you would share, would it be of help to your group to learn this that would help them with this? It's a question she can't say no to. Otherwise, she would really feel silly. Because I would say, would it help to come and share some tips on how to hit 7 figures or multi-7 figures? Or would that be of help to Breaking Beyond? She can't say no. She has to say yes and share more. So those 2 things would be in the reach out, and then the follow-up. The fortune's always in the follow-up. If someone has not got back to you in 2 weeks, follow up again. And then if it's not a week, it's gone past, follow up again. How many times you follow up before you give them an out?
Forever.
I would say 3 because I don't want to be a pain in the behind. So I will give them an out on the 3rd time, and I'll just say, hey, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be bugging you. Just give me a no if it's a no. And that usually means, oh, no, I've just been busy. I'm so thank you. Great, right? But then there's an out, and give them an out. Yeah, great. I will see you on a stage near you.
I love it. Well, and speaking of, getting out there and having a presence, you released the 3rd book,
Yes.
Unshakable Inner Peace.
Yes.
Get off your mental and emotional roller coaster for good. What's one of the biggest takeaways from the book?
Well, I think getting off the mental and emotional roller coaster is the thing, and this book is a conversation that I had with a very clear voice that shocked me when I started writing. And I asked the question, is it possible for me to reach enlightenment this lifetime? And enlightenment's not even a word I would use. Like, what? And it showed me all of the traps that my mind and body was in, even though I'd been on a personal growth path for a long time, that would then allow for this experience. I love Eckhart Tolle. Does anyone like Eckhart Tolle? He's so cute. And so I was like, I had been on the path, but I knew I wasn't experiencing what he was talking about on his guru chair. Like, there was something happening. So the number one thing that came through that book in my learning, as I was learning, was how to be receptive. Spirituality is about heightening your receptivity to the moment, to this room, to the person. And how do you do that? Because you're not the one that awakens. Something else awakens through you. And you have to be very, very receptive to it. And I didn't realize kind of how, mind's closed, and heart's a little closed, and all of that happens. So there are books out there for sale, Unshakable Inner Peace. And is anyone ever dreamt of writing a book? Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone thought I probably should at some point in the next 10 years for my business? Yeah. I think if you're an expert or speaker, put a book on your bucket list. I wrote the first full draft of this book in 3.5 days, 50,000 words. because I know how to get into that highly receptive state. So if anyone does want to get into my time bending machine in writing a book, there is a free challenge I'm doing in a couple of weeks to outline your full book in 3 days, 90 minutes each, and I will blow your mind as far as how quickly that can work if you popped your hand up or ever thought, maybe I should do that. And Teri can tell me.
Well, and I think it's really powerful for, I never wanted to write a book. And when people told me, they're like, well, you're going to speak. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, then you need to have a book. And I'm like, I'm a rule breaker in most areas of my life. I'm not doing it. Okay. And so I dug my heels in. Well, I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do
time and the
time,
energy and
energy. I'm not a writer. I'm
okay.
not
Yeah.
Language is hard for me.
Yeah.
And so just all of that, I'm like, no, it's not doing it. And I had a girlfriend, her name's Kelly. She's not here today. She was here last time. And she just kept bugging me and bugging and bugging. I'm like, I'm not writing it. But I was writing for Color Biz magazine. I was writing for articles. I was writing other places, and I was a columnist and da-da-da. And then she's like, just write it. So I totally cheated. I'm gonna tell you about how I cheated. I told her, Kelly, I was like, if I just write this book, will you stop hounding me? She's like, yes. So I printed off all the content I had already done, and I'm like, is there any themes? And so then I, got rid of stuff and just do this stuff. But I will say, it opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah.
And I had, a celebrity endorse the book. That opened up even more doors. For that piece too.
Books definitely open doors.
It's a really powerful. So if you had that feeling of like, I should be doing this, I'm saying it's worth the investment in time. And if you have some time collapsing, magic, go for it.
And you have to, because the book isn't going to be the main money earner.
Yeah.
And so some people get derailed and like, I want to spend them a year on my book. Well, lucky you. I don't have that time to do that. And so it's like, how do you get the most out of that time and stay on your business as well?
Yeah, I love it. That's powerful. So what would you say, on this topic, like, why would you say it's so important to write a book or
to pick
be
up
on stage?
There's different types of books you could write, and so this is a great idea as far as pulling what you have and maybe writing a short book or something that allows for that. For me, why I did it in this process, and I will continue to do it in this process, my third book, it clarifies where you're going. If you sit and receive your next book, that's not what happened the last 5 years and let me put it in a book. It shows you. And every time I've done this, I sat down to write a book that I thought I was supposed to write. I thought for ages, I'm like, I'm going to write the book Awaken Your Impact, which is all about hitting multiple 7 figures and on your way to 8. And every time I sit in the retreat, it says, it's not the book you're writing. Sorry to break it to you. And it brings me back to personal development. Because I'm in that space of like, what is your soul's calling? So it's very, very clarifying. If anyone is sitting here and is like, but what is my next best bold move? Writing puts you in that place if you do it in that right brain way and does that. So
you're in such a receptive
absolutely
mode of that. Like,
even if you don't publish, you're going to get that download of where you're supposed to go. And it's why my first book took 5 years, because I didn't do it with this method. I was doing it and I'd put it in a shelf. And I'm like, I'd pick it out 6 months later. Has anyone done this? Pick up a book 6 months later and you're like, I've changed so much. I'm not even that person. And then you put it back in the drawer and then you pick it out 9 months later and you're like, I need to start again. That's what I was doing. So I learned, like, you got to do it in one sitting with your higher self, the God of your understanding of where are you going. So it's a personal growth journey, way more speaking gigs, way more credibility, higher ticket sales, because people will spend a lot of time with you. Like, they'll spend how many hours reading a book? 5, 10? I don't read very fast. It's probably more than that. And that does a lot for them wanting to then work with you after
That's
that.
a great point. I've never heard of it said that way before.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
And you said earlier too about the personal branding.
Yeah.
And that's, we've got products here, personal branding, and what was the other one you said? Products,
Products.
personal,
And brick and
and brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And so for the personal brand, who has to be the inspirational face of your business here? You have to be that. Karen Ruth, you're definitely.
Yeah.
Right? So then that's a different conversation. You do need your speech. You do need your video suite. Get the book. Pull all of that together. And you'll start to see more of a lift off, right? I was at a conference the other day, and a woman came up to me who was at the conference. I wasn't leading it. And she's like, fangirl moment. I've got your books. And I'm like, they're dog-eared and they're written on. And it's like, that's what I want. That's what I want to hear. But she knows me before I even have to say a word in that conference.
I love it. That's brilliant. So we're going to change things up just for a moment. We're going to ask the 3 speakers here today 3 questions that are all the same. And so the first question is, what has been your biggest limiting belief that you had to overcome and to get to where you're at today?
I am somehow broken, and so everybody else can figure this out but me. Anyone else looked at those like bright, shiny objects on Instagram? You're like, there's something that they know that I don't know, and I can't figure it out. And so I had to go, no, I just got to get the knowledge. I got to get behind the curtain and ask them, what are you doing? Because I'm not doing that.
Perfect. Okay. The next one is, how do you get yourself unstuck when you get in your own way?
When I get stuck and I get in my own way, I prepare myself for some big truth telling, because it's not going to be pretty. It's always my fault. Isn't it? It's always going to be my fault. So I just like, okay, I am kind of not doing this well. And I slow it down, get myself in a good space and go, where am I half-assing this?
Yeah.
And just take that versus what I used to do was a little bit more, you got this, which I always say in the middle of my workouts because I'm a struggle. I'm like, I got this. But I've learned that if I'm going to really create something that most people don't create, I've got to confront. Business is about continuous confrontation. And please know, I am as high-flying, vibe-producing, energy opening as anyone. But confrontation I did not want to do. And that's how I get unstuck. Isn't it how you get unstuck with everything? A team member's not working, your message is not working, your leadership's not working. You have to confront something, and it's not very pretty. So I've gotten better at that.
That's great. I love it. And final words of wisdom. The loaded question.
No pressure. Where are you playing mediocre? And it starts with a decision. Everything where you want to go starts with the energy of decision. And I would guess, if I was working individually with all of you, that the thing that you're not getting to, you have actually not energetically decided you are all in. You are hedging your bets. I was continuously hedging my bets with the universe. Well, I'll do this and we'll see what happens. I'll do this, and if enough people say yes, that will be my sign. And the sign doesn't come in when you're not all in. Do you know that from other things? So look at what you've been trying to do for a while. It hasn't happened. And then go, how am I playing mediocre in that? And then they have a free gift. I don't know if we're getting to that. But in your bags, or actually in your binders.
As I say, they're going to come around with them.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're going to come around with this little free gift from Rachael Jayne.
Particularly if you did put your hand up and you want to dream of doing a book, let me help you do it in months, not years, and it's free. This is our Outline Your Book Challenge on April 30th and May 2nd. There's more details in the binder about it, and we'll be here. Anne is going around, and I'd love to meet everybody today. And if you've got a little laser coaching question for your business, I would love to give some coaching on that. This is your way to credibility, influence, and passive income. And later today, I'll be back for a little speech and give you some other presence practices
I love it.
Help you be amazing.
Rachael Jayne's here for the rest of the day. And the VIPs, we do have lunch and dinner with Rachael Jayne as well as the other speakers today. And so let's give it up for Rachael Jayne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell to find out about my upcoming shows. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time.